Hello and welcome to Tile Coach. My name is Isaac Ostrom. I don't know if you've heard, but Laticrete Permacolor has improved their formula and it is supposedly 20% stronger than the old formula that they've had. We've been dealing with soft grout problems for a long time in our industry, especially with the rapid setting high performance grouts such as Customs Prism, Mapei Ultra Color, Tech Power Grout. I first brought awareness to this issue in a video that I did a while back titled Which Grout is Best. Now I'll include a link to that video in the description below so you can see it for yourself, but what I did is put the leading brands of grouts through rigorous testing, and I'm going to be doing the same type of testing with the new and improved formula of Permacolor, and I'm going to base it against the old formula and see how it does. Before I begin, I would like to thank Laticrete for providing the supplies for this video. Now let's get started. To avoid mixing up a whole bag of grout, what I did is just measured out and weighed carefully 2 pounds of grout of both the new and the old. The new formula actually requires a little bit more water, so I calculated that out. I divided 2 pounds by 25 pounds, which was a factor of 0.08. Once I had that factor, I just multiplied that factor by the fluid ounces that were required. I did this very carefully. I want to do this as scientifically as possible and use the instructions that the manufacturer recommends. I'm going to start with the new, and I'm going to put the 6.4 fluid ounces into the 2 pounds of grout, which again, you guys, if you're math people, check my math please. I want to know that I'm doing this right. And I'll just mix this up. It also says on the bag of the new Permacolor that it doesn't contain silica, or at least that's what the image looks like. Okay, so the new one got a good mix on that. I'm going to set it aside to let it slack. Now we're going to be going with the old formula, using a different margin trowel just so I don't contaminate everything. And put the water in this one. So for 2 pounds, this is 5.4 fluid ounces. The new one was 6.4, so 1 more ounce per 2 pounds is how much more water the new one requires. Right off the bat, I'm just going to say these water ratios seem a little tight. I kind of went right in the middle of the approved range. And I believe the manufacturers allow up to 10% more water. So I would say most installers, most professionals would be adding more water to this mix than I did, but it's at least usable. I know I could spread it, but it's kind of right on the edge. I got a nice consistency on the grout. I'm happy with this. The directions say to let it slack for 5 minutes. So we'll take a little 5-minute break. I'll go ahead and get my sample boards ready so that we can spread this grout after it slacks. All right, it's been about 5 minutes. I'll give this another quick little whip. Okay, I'm happy with the new, the old. Again, this one's a lot tighter. Okay, there we go. Both of them have been remixed after the slack time. So I'm going to be starting with the new. So what I've done is I've created 4 sample boards. This is a 2x2 porcelain mosaic, and I've labeled them. I've made 2 labeled with the new on the top. So these are going to be getting the new formula. And then one of them is going to be getting sealed and one of them's not. So we'll see if the sealer makes a difference or not. So yeah, I got the new and then I got the old. Same thing, one with sealer, one without. This is a 2x2 porcelain mosaic, very commonly used on shower floors. It's a high quality Italian porcelain, and I installed it using a Schluter-Curdy trowel so that it didn't get any buildup into the joints. The joints are almost completely open, you know, the same thickness of the tile. Again, I want to eliminate any variables such as thin set filling up some of the joint. So I got the new. I want to make sure that, you know, the you know, the new matches the new. So here we go. We're gonna do the new one, and then grout. So I got the new ones done. I'm going to switch to the old formula. So I got the old formula here. There you can see the old matches the old boards. Again, make sure I don't mess up this procedure. Clean off my grout float too so I don't cross-contaminate. Alright, nice clean grout float. Let's grout up the old. Okay, so I got all four of my boards, the two new and the two old boards, all grouted up. We're gonna wait 15 to 30 minutes to let these joints firm up before we give them the first wipe. So I'm gonna go take a break, be right back. All right, so I've waited about 30 minutes to let this grout set up nicely before giving it a rinse. One way to test grout, obviously you do not want it to set up or else you won't be able to clean it off, but you don't want it too soft where it wipes out of the joints. So if you just do a touch test and it still feels soft but it doesn't stick to your finger, you know that that's ready to rinse. So I'm going to go ahead and get going. I'm going to start with cleaning the old one first. I'm just going to be using microfiber cloths. Nice thing about them is they don't add a bunch of water. Again, I don't want to add excessive amounts of water to this to compromise the test. So here we go with the old. This one will be getting the sealer. I'm just giving it a little light scrub action going at a diagonal direction to the grout joint so that I don't wash them out. Leaving really nice full joints. That's nice. And that'll be good for that one. I'll do the same thing for the second sample of the old grout. Then I will be changing buckets of water and microfiber cloths to do the new. New bucket of water, new microfiber, and we're going to do the new improved grout here. Give this a nice little rinse. Okay, I got my 4 samples cleaned up, wiped down really nicely. I'm going to let these cure up, let them get a full cure on them. We'll be back and we're going to put these to the test. See you in a few. Okay, so I'm back. Today is Wednesday, June 14th, and I got these boards that have cured up nice. I did the grout on May 2nd, so it's been about 6 weeks for these to cure up. Again, 4 samples, 2 of each of the old and the new Permacolor Grout. These 2 I put bulletproof sealer on. About a week after I did the grout, I installed 2 coats of this bulletproof sealer onto the 2 grout boards because I wanted to see if that made a difference. So we're ready to go, ready to do the testing. I'm pretty excited about this. It's been a long wait. I was gonna just do a 28-day cure, but things got busy, summertime, graduations, you know, little trips and stuff. We've had just a beautiful spring here in Northern California. Weather's just been beautiful. It's been awesome. I don't even think we've been into the 90s more than a few days this whole spring, so it's just been gorgeous. 70s and 80s, lots of sunshine. Again, we had a really wet winter, so everything's green. Streams are flowing. There's still snow in the Sierras. But anyways, I'm excited to do this grout. It's been a long time waiting, so I'm going to start with the unsealed samples. And like I did with my original testing, I'm just going to get these bad boys wet because this is where we've been seeing the issues with the abrasion and the grout coming out. When it's dry, we tend to not have those issues. It's when it's wet in a shower area, especially the shower floors, that's where we tend to get the problem. So I'm going to start by getting them wet, and I'll just let this soak in here for a few minutes, let it really penetrate. The unsealed, it's, you know, it happens pretty fast. The water soaks in. The sealed ones are probably going to take a few minutes to let that water soak in through the sealer. But right off the bat, I can tell that the color is a little different from the old and the new. The old Permacolor, even though they're both natural gray, the old Permacolor has more of a dull gray, where the new is a more vibrant, deeper gray. Just say, you know, it seems like it has more color pigment in it. Yeah, so that's right off the bat. That's what I notice is a different color. And when you get them wet, you can really see the color difference here. So I'm just gonna let these sit for a second. I'm gonna kind of get some of the excess water off, just so it doesn't, you know, really kind of make it hard to see. So the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna be using this HDX grout brush. I got this at Home Depot. This is just a tile. It's just a tile and grout brush. So yeah, this is what you would be using to clean tile. So I want to make this a real world scenario. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 10 passes on each, and I'm going to give it a pretty aggressive scrub and see what happens. So get a little water on this brush, and I'm going to start with the old, and I'm going to go 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you can see right away the old, just from those scrubs, you see how much color is coming through on the grout. A lot of color here, and I'll just take a paper towel, and you'll probably be able to see how much grout came off. Just so that came off just from a regular grout brush that you would get at Home Depot that's made for cleaning grout. So a lot of grout came off of that, and this is pretty much what we experienced when we did the first test. Okay, so now I'm gonna clean off my grout brush here, make sure I get all the excess grout off of that brush. And let's try the new. Let's see how the new does. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, much better. Much better. I still see a little bit. But that is quite a big difference. Quite a big difference from the old. So some grout has come off of there, but much better. I mean, I can tell right away that this is much better. Now the claims are 20% stronger, I would definitely say that's a 20% improvement unscientifically. Basing, I mean 20%, how do you quantify that? But I would say it's definitely a lot better. I would say it's probably more like at least 50%. So anyways, those are the two unsealed versions. Let's see what happens when we use the bulletproof sealer on these. Again, 2 coats of this bulletproof sealer. This is really good stuff, water-based, doesn't have an odor, and thank you Latacrete for giving me a whole gallon of this for just 2 little sample boards. We'll definitely be using this. Okay, so let's go. We got the old, let's put our old here, and we'll put our new. Again, these are the sealed versions. These have the bulletproof sealer. Let's go ahead and get these wet. It takes a little bit of time. That's one misconception about sealers. People think that they completely seal out water. They don't. You'll notice that even after you seal grout, that it will get darker. It takes longer. It takes longer for that water to penetrate through, but sealers are not waterproof. And that's a misconception. I hear people say, I get that in a lot of comments, well, all you need to do is seal grout and you don't need waterproofing in your shower, because once the grout is sealed, it's waterproof. That is a myth. It still allows water to penetrate through it, still allows vapor transmission through it. And again, I appreciate Latacrete for giving me the supplies for this video. Again, they're pretty brave. They know my testing. They know I will tell it how it is. So they must have faith. They probably did some, obviously they did testing. They have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars going into research and development every year, so I'm sure they've done this, but they were confident in their product, sent it out to me to go through the tile coach testing. So yeah, these have soaked in pretty good here. I can see the color change. So I think we are ready to go ahead and get this going. Maybe give it a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to start with the old again. Start with the old with the sealer. Here we go. Make sure my brush is nice and clean. Here we go. Old. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this was also a lot better. I don't see hardly any color coming off. I think there's a little bit of grout here. You can see a little bit of grout, but much better with the sealer. The sealer definitely helped it. Let me get a paper towel and see how this did. And just a white paper towel. And here is the amount of grout. So I would say this is similar to what the new grout without the sealer did. That's about the same amount. Again, very unscientific here with being able to quantify the amount of grout coming off, but the eye test tells me it's about the same as the new grout performed without the sealer. So if my hypothesis is correct now, the new with the sealer should give us very little grout coming off of there. Okay, here's the new with the sealer. Got a clean brush ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very, very little grout coming off of there. Not even really noticeable. Not even really noticeable. A little bit of residue up here on the top. But man, that did really, really well. Man, I love when this stuff works out. Man, it is really cool to do this testing. The failures, yeah, so here's the amount that came off. Still a little bit of residue, but it's It's very good. So much better than it was with the old formula and no sealer. I'm really stoked. I'm really stoked that it actually worked. I think the 20% that they're saying is stronger, I think that's probably even underestimating, at least in the abrasion. You know, again, 20% stronger, that could be like compression testing too. Maybe that's what they're referring to in the 20%. But as far as the abrasion, I would say it's at least 50% better. So I'm really happy with the results, especially when it's not even sealed. I mean, the first test I did without any sealer on the new performed really well, really well. So if you are using these old grouts, I would say, you know, maybe you need to seal them, because even the old with sealer performed a lot better than the old grout without the sealer. So if you like to use Mapei Ultra Color, if you like to use Customs Prism, maybe consider putting bulletproof sealer on there to make it harder. So you guys might be doing that anyways, but you know, food for thought. So thanks for being with me. I hope you learned something from this, and thank you to Laticrete for allowing me to do this testing and taking my testing into consideration. I think all of us feel better when we feel like we're making a difference, when we have a purpose in life. And by doing these tests, I know I'm helping these companies get better. I'm providing them valuable real-world information. And I just want to thank Laticrete for letting me be a part of this, because I feel really good today knowing that I'm helping make a difference. If you are stuck in kind of a dead-end job where it seems like you're not making a difference in the world, that might be a reason why you're depressed and just not feeling very good, because I've been there. I've been just like you. I've been doing a job that I really didn't want to do, didn't feel fulfilled, didn't feel purpose, and I was depressed and had a lot of issues. So you might want to take a look at that, maybe find something where you're appreciated and valued and make a career out of it. And I know the tile trade can do that. I love the tile trade because it has allowed me to not only do this, but earlier on, be creative, build things, have people appreciate it, and just really feel good about myself. And it's helped my self-esteem a lot, and I want that for you too. So thanks for being here. I love you. I love being your tile coach, and we'll see you on the next video.